When you think of touring a city like Seattle, what comes to mind? You have the food tours, architecture tours, the underground tours, and you can always ride the ducks. You can pretty much get some insight into all the corners of this town. But there is a different type of tour growing in Seattle, for those who are interested in the darker corners.
I like scary stuff, and so it was kind of interesting.
People are just looking for something different.
Tourism has changed a lot in the last maybe 20 years, and there's this idea of the experience actually being a product.
And it has happened on some of our tours. People do have experiences.
We want to provide entertainment. A couple can go out to a movie and spend 40, 50 bucks, or they can spend not that much, come to a tour and have a personal one-on-one experience that they'll remember for years down the road.
I like to see their jaws drop. I like to see them go,
Let's face it, ghosts are trending nowadays. They are definitely trending nowadays.
And in Seattle, it's a trend that has developed into 4 different tours: Private Eye on Seattle, the Market Ghost Tour, and 2 in Pioneer Square, Spooked in Seattle, and the original ghost tours of Pioneer Square, which, if you ask owner Anthony McDonald, is really...
It's really a play on words. They get all bent on shit. Oh, you're not the original. Oh, come on, man. I'm not the first.
The first ghost tour to start in the city is Private Eye on Seattle's Haunted Happenings.
Would you all mind raising your hands, the ones that aren't believers, so I can tell who you are? So it's always a male. It never fails. Every tour owner has their own business plan, I'm assuming. If you rotate this, you might see other things as well, and different ways of doing things.
So any questions before we head out?
I think we each have an element that helps us each stand out a little bit more.
You guys ready to begin? You guys ready to begin? Yeah! Follow me.
My tour, we ride around in a vehicle. We cover a large area of the city, and we visit various haunted locations. Not only do you hear the history behind the place, but what's currently going on as far as ghostly things are concerned and what's happened in the past.
And for many of these tours, researching the past is an essential part of each location's story.
And this ramp we just went down is the original horse and cattle ramp for Pike Place Market.
We've done everything from paranormal research to archival research, looked at fire insurance maps.
Many people are not really aware of the true history of this market. All sorts of mayhem and craziness has happened because he woke up halfway through her robbing him. And to show her his displeasure, he grabbed a pair of scissors and then stabbed her to death.
We really want you to walk away learning something new about the city that you never knew.
So welcome to Merchants Cafe, you guys. This is Seattle's oldest restaurant.
Because you find that the scariest stories are the real ones.
And right when I looked over here, right about where you're sitting, I saw this little dark figure standing right here.
Seattle wasn't always pretty. We've had a lot of interesting things happen here.
I find that Seattle can easily match up to some of the most haunted cities out there.
And with so many haunted places, business must be good.
Yes, it is at this point, because, the popularity of ghosts right now.
We're going to go around the corner over here. We're going to find out about a most peculiar ghost. I make a few dollars each week, and I have fun.
It's competitive.
The workers down here have heard an unidentified male's voice. You always have to look to the future and think, well, what can I do differently that will set you apart from everybody else?
Now, I've actually had the opportunity to investigate the underground.
We share evidence collected on our investigations, from video clips to audio clips.
If you listen carefully, you will hear the response, Edward.
Can you tell us your name?
The Spooked in Seattle, these guys are ghost hunters, and they have the ghost hunting equipment and all that. I don't do it that way. All ghost tours are controversial, and the original ghost tours of Pioneer Square is no exception. My tour, it's a blend of fact and fiction.
A throwback to the roots of ghost tours when details were, shall we say, embellished.
I try to shock people. When the road catches, she's doing about 80, 90 miles an hour and it rips her head off. It's a different tour, you know? You know, my tour is, come on, man, have some fun, man. Come on, man. You're going to be entertained.
He's a good storyteller. I think I'd rather not fact check. It was good.
But some people may be looking for more than just a story.
My daughter and I are both just fascinated by ghosts and paranormal and
always watching anything that has to do with paranormal investigations. It's all interesting.
And for those who are brave enough to try it,
Is there anybody in the bunks?
We'll take people on a ghost hunt. We take them to the haunted hotspots, and then we'll give them some of the basics in ghost hunting. And then after that, we turn out the lights, and they get to do a real ghost hunt.
We also go into the old Butterworth Mortuary, which is atop of the Kells Irish Brew Pub. And that's a very, very, very haunted establishment. I saw my very first ghost ever in that building. We can't guarantee that type of experience every time you go into the mortuary, but we've had some very interesting happenings in there.
I would say I was skeptical, but if there's a place that's haunted, I would say that's probably the most likely place I've ever been.
so whether you are looking for a paranormal experience, some interesting history, or just a good old scary story, the ghost tours are open all year round. But just remember,
When you're doing a ghost tour, you never know what's going to happen.
Watch CityStream Thursday nights at 7 on the Seattle channel, or get video on demand and podcasts anytime at seattlechannel.org.